Good evening and welcome to Enterprise at 8. This is Live Long and Podcast Star Trek Enterprise Rewatch series. It's been about 20 years since tonight's episode.
20 years?
20 years! I hate you, Dave. Since tonight's episode Marauders first aired, but we're just getting started here at Enterprise at 8 now that I've fucked up my entire intro. Anyway, I'm Jody Simpson.
20 years?
Jody Simpson.
Anyway, I'm Jody Simpson, and joining me is my co-host and the man who also enjoys the company of an osmotic eel, Adam Woodward.
Hello. How are you guys doing today?
It's been 20 years, apparently.
It's actually been 20 years,
20
hours.
years?
20 years. And of course, also joining us is Live Long and Podcast producer extraordinaire, and the man whose batleth can decapitate its victims with just one stroke, Dave Mater.
I don't like bullies. Not on Earth. Not anywhere, Jody.
It's true. And of course, who could forget the man who believes Archer isn't even fit for a garbage scow, Kevin Millard.
Hello. He's definitely an overbearing, swaggering dictator.
True.
With illusions of grandeur.
And tonight, we also have a special guest from Locutors of Trek podcast. We have Davan Skelhorn.
How's it going, fellas? So I pop in
Not too
and
bad.
hang out with you guys.
Cool.
Because
All
I
right,
love you
anyway.
all so very, very much. As much as I love this episode, in fact.
Do you like it as much as you like Minefield? Just curious.
You know what? It's up there, but no, Minefield's amazing. Look osmotic at him. Let's not get
Anyway.
into this right off the start.
Tonight's episode is, as we said, Marauders. This is the 31st episode of the series. And the description is, after the fuel-starved Enterprise encounters an oppressed mining colony that's being controlled by Klingon marauders, Archer decides to help stage an uprising, because he likes to do those at least a couple times a day. It's always
He does.
uprisings with Archers, isn't it?
Without that pesky prime directive in the way.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I have a question on that. When we get into this, I'd like to talk more about the Prime Directive and how would it apply to this?
Or not. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who are
That's
these
true.
people?
Yeah.
Good
Who were these?
question.
They were just a bunch of deuterium miners.
Well, I suppose if you mine deuterium, you definitely know warp drive exists.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, they know it exists.
Well,
Isn't that the prime directive though?
Yeah.
It's not just non-interference, it's non-interference with cultures that are behind them that don't have warp capability yet.
but I think since we're going to be talking about
They
this,
interfere in other cultures all the time.
Constantly.
but at the beginning when they were asked to leave, they probably should have left if there was a Prime
Yeah.
Directive in place.
Yes, that's true.
But later they were asked for help, so they can stay.
Yes.
Well, Archer kind of pushed himself into it, and then
Well, I mean, there is that, but
they were just
Archer
tired of
helped
seeing
him
him walk and talk at the
aggressively.
same time. They're like, just sit down and we'll let you stay.
stop walking around.
Stop walking around and talking.
well,
Well, what do we think about this episode?
I think
I
it
like it.
sucks.
You think it sucks, all right?
Why, Dave?
Dave says he sucks.
Dave, really?
I think it's that more specifically, I think it's mediocre and sort of dull and forgettable. And there's a couple things I liked about it, but generally it was no minefield. I can tell you that.
No,
much.
it wasn't. It wasn't.
So David and I agree on that part at least. And it was, I don't know, it just was a very kind of boring story to me that I don't think had a good resolution, because I think the Klingons could and would come back.
Yeah.
And probably did. And I wonder, if I can't imagine that they could have bombed them from orbit.
Yeah,
Like-
exactly.
Like they showed us that one time, so we'll never mess with them again. Like, it just didn't add up for me.
Oh no! Like it needed a part 2 in like a couple seasons later, where they go back there and there's like half as many miners. And
Yeah, they're all dead, especially that kid.
yeah. It needed a follow up.
Yeah, it definitely made the Klingons seem not so dangerous. Like,
Yeah.
you just have to, it's that old, it's the old stand up to the bully and they'll go away, but that's not the truth. You have to defeat the bully every time.
Yeah, you might have to kill the bully.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's what was
Which
missing
they-
from that scene.
From that scene, but they did say that later. He's just like, we're gonna do this every time. If you come back, we'll be ready.
Please don't flame the show. Don't worry. Thanks for the disclaimer. The people were worried out there about it. So
I'm getting tired of getting slammed on the YouTube comments.
Sam's asking if I'm ready for Wednesday. I'm not really. I'm still need the cast to come out, Sam, for Big Brother 24. But no. Want to go through the story and pictures, if you will,
Sure.
the podcast.
Sure. We got dirt.
We got dirt on this
Next
episode.
More dirt.
More
Next slide.
dirt somewhere in California, I would imagine.
It seems like a very small colony, though. I mean, how many people actually live there?
Yeah,
I
but
say like
think about
60
it.
or something like that. don't
Think
they?
about an oil rig. Same thing, right? Like
I know, but
there's
at
only,
oil
like-
rigs, you get to go home every couple weeks.
Yeah,
or
well,
months.
these guys, you get the impression that they're like an offsuit of some huge planet, but
Yeah,
They
they're
don't
a
have
colony of some
communication with
other, but they're too far away for their planet to do anything about this, like their home world to do anything about this. So they're just kind of, I don't know. They seem like they can set up shop, mine deuterium, and then get out after a certain amount of time, and move on to the next site. So it's only meant to live there temporarily. That's why everything's modular.
yeah, they said it's 4 years or something like that.
Yeah.
And that most of the year sucks. They're like, we've got like 2 months or something to mine all this shit.
Before they kept talking about the winter. Well, I don't know what happens on
Yeah.
this planet in winter, but I got the impression it was not fun in winter. That getting through that would be
When
hard.
the hordes of Klingon trained penguins come out.
Yeah.
But these guys, all these extras are playing people who live on such a planet well. Like they're all miserable. Like even though it's like finally there's summer, they're still like miserable as hell because they know it's short and like the rest of the year is really bad.
This guy looks like a
Their
little
life sucks.
young Zephyr Cochrane.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Does he
kind of.
have?
Have we seen
hair-
this forehead before? You think, Dave?
I don't think so.
No.
But like, it looks like
No.
hair grows out of these little shoots, that they have at the top.
Oh my
top of
god!
their-
Yep, I didn't see that in the show, but I see it here in
Me
this picture.
neither.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's even more
That's
concerning because that means
terrifying.
hair
Yeah,
grows.
it's
upward.
kind of horrifying.
Yeah, it's almost as
Like
horrifying.
reverse nostril hair.
Yeah.
Vertical nostril hair.
They're like, well, what if we just take a bunch of their hair and then we cut it off and we stick it in there like it's growing up? And then the makeup department was like, yeah, let's do that.
Love it, great idea.
Yeah.
Very alien.
Uh,
Gotta give him that.
well, I don't know. That'd be points off for you, Davan. But we see the shuttle pod arrives and they go, whoa, it's not the bad guys. And that's kind of the cold open, which I think was kind of a weak cold open. These people are
Yeah,
just
it was
afraid.
brutal.
They're pretty afraid of strangers. And that's all we're kind of given for the first couple moments here.
Yeah.
Right, yeah,
There's
but
not much
you know,
going on.
right, there's not much going on.
No.
No.
Okay, let me retract a little bit. This one's not like it's a couple steps down from Minefield. It's a good episode, but like
So that means it's better than Minefield to us, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Look.
I think so.
I
Best
like
thing
it better
for
than
me-
Minefield.
Best thing for me was that they gave to Paul her own version of desert outfit here. Although I don't know.
I have seen
so
body
you-
paint that was looser fitting. Like,
Yeah.
just a white version of her.
I don't know
regular
what you
outfit.
guys got against looking at her.
I don't have
for it.
anything against it.
Nothing from me.
But
I don't
this is
mind
the
looking at her
Vulcan-
at all. But you know, it's like
She's the equivalent.
well, you
to
know
this
what?
Show,
They make Archer and Trip be super sexy all the time too. So
being able to see
It's not like
her in
gender
this
bias.
show is like the equivalent of going to Costco, spending a lot of money, but getting to pay $1.50 for a hot dog. Like, it's good. It's not like the main thing, but it's good.
Right. Well, that's all good. That's all fine. But I just think that
It is fine.
to Paul,
agree.
like if we're supposed to believe that this is the Vulcan desert uniform. I don't know.
Oh, we lost Adam.
It seems a bit basic, but the Vulcans are also more acclimated.
Well, she's
to
also
desert.
wearing heels. Like, come
Is she?
on. Yeah, she's
in
got
the
those.
desert.
She's got those. She's got those big heeled shoe things on.
Yeah,
Just to
because
make
when they
those-
make
That's
her
to make her legs
run,
look good in the.
she looks really awkward.
It does look really awkward.
I didn't really
Yeah.
notice that. As awkward as this man.
No one is as awkward.
Nothing is as awkward as Archer.
Oh my god, you guys are. Wait, what was the premise of this review series coming in? Wasn't it one of you guys was going to convert the rest of you or something like that, and thinking
Yeah,
this show
yeah.
is
You
good?
guys, they all wanted.
We never said we wanted you to love Archer, though. Let's
I've
be
never-
clear.
because I've never.
I think it's
seen
a
it.
failed premise, and I have to insert myself to convince you all that this is a good show. That's what it seems
Sam
like
says,
to
Jody,
me.
don't you diss Costco because Costco pizza is better
He was
than
praising Costco, wasn't he?
He was praising
Yeah.
Costco, I believe. But Sam sometimes thinks it's a
Sam, give your balls a tug. Jeez.
Give your balls a tug, bud.
Think about it there, bud.
We got another comment here.
Your
from
mom
Dennis
bought me
May.
a cell phone last night.
He says the Klingons are the Russians, and the United Earth is the United States. In this, that's the allegory of this.
Well, technically, yeah, because Roddenberry wrote the original show in the '60s, and you had a whole bunch of stuff going on, but the Russians were clearly an issue then.
yeah,
So
I don't think that they ever did a real justice. This episode had a lot of potential here to set up like Earth and what would become the Federation against the Klingons, because from what we can tell, like that had been going on for a century by the time Kirk and Pike are messing about. But there was this I guess this period early on where the Klingon Empire decided that Earth was too insignificant to care about. They're not going to war directly with Earth. But we can see here that this was maybe the beginnings of Earth and Vulcan and what would become the Federation, like protecting planets against the Klingons.
Can you go back to that last image?
This one?
Anyone else want to guess how they saved on budget in this shot?
handkerchiefs, lots of them. They're like, this guy will always wear a bandana, so we don't have to do the makeup.
Yeah, it's much easier for him.
Seems
I thought
fine to
that
me
was
though,
funny.
because it's believable that these guys would have stuff like that on.
Sam says,
yeah.
Jody, I didn't know you had a dirty mind like that. Well, you don't know Jody very well.
Clearly,
You haven't been watching this show.
Hey, so Davan, if I
Yeah.
couldn't talk because you guys didn't hear me, but when you're asking about the premise of this podcast, and I would agree. I came in loving this or thinking I loved it.
I'll convert you all.
And it's not that I'm not converted. It's just Archer sometimes.
Archer
I
is
love
annoying.
that you were all good. You were going to convince me, you two, and I'm taking you down. It's totally the other way around.
Maybe that's what's happening.
They're like, maybe these guys have a point.
No, actually,
See, I
it's not
see
even
a lot
Archer.
of,
It's Archer
I
and
see a lot of
Malcolm.
good in
Everybody
this.
else I like. I like this.
Yeah,
But
I'm
let's
not
be clear here, Kevin.
Honestly, those three right there are my three least favorite. Right there.
Kevin, when we pitched the idea for this podcast, we made it very clear that it wasn't going to be smooth sailing the entire time.
No,
That's true. That's
That is
absolutely
true.
true. We did say it, but man,
We
I didn't
actually
realize,
said that the first 2 seasons are going to be hard on you.
See, I
but I
like
didn't
this.
realize
I
how
think-
much Archer is such a
See, but
air
see,
of,
that's
air
the
of
point. I
superiority
think that's
walks
the point.
around.
See, we're going. If this series would have landed better if it came in chronological order, like it should have, right? Like if we saw this crew before we saw Kirk or anything, because they're all way less cool.
It
And,
would have
like,
landed
he's
better if
super
you didn't
square,
have 4
he's
shows
like-
within that time period.
But I just think like that's what they're playing to. I think the things that like are easy to not like about the show, I feel like they're doing it on purpose because they want to separate themselves. They want to seem more naive and like more basic than
And-
other
right.
series.
it
Right,
hasn't
that-
been all bad. I've liked quite a few episodes.
Yeah,
We
you
had a-
gave
we had
one
a-
an
we had a-
11.
We had a string of them a few episodes ago that were great.
Right.
Until
But it's just
Till
but when it goes bad, it goes really bad.
And it doesn't take much, I think, is my point sometimes, because this crew just lacks charisma.
We're always on that fence where we're about to
Except
fall on
Malcolm,
one side or the other.
who
It's
has
either
a
going to be
ton
really
of
good
charisma.
or it's going to be
Especially
very
Malcolm.
disappointing.
Malcolm casting Malcolm was a mistake.
Oh my God, you guys! Oh, I'll fight you all. Malcolm he's doing that on purpose too. He's trying to they've told him to play this stiff upper lip Brit, so that's what he's doing.
I like your
he
bum.
infuses some good stuff in there, man.
Davan, we try
nice
to keep this podcast to an hour, okay?
All right, I'm done.
All right.
Right. But just on that note.
That bum.
It's a nice bum.
It is a nice bum.
She's got an awfully nice bum.
Got an awfully nice bum.
See, so good. You guys are crazy. So good.
Oh no, Malcolm drunk is fun.
Yeah, he doesn't get drunk enough in this show.
He doesn't get drunk enough in this show. Yeah.
It's a suicidal maniac. He just wasn't.
He is.
His
Oh, he's
solution to
crazy.
everything is I'll just kill myself.
Yeah, maybe my parents will love me if I kill myself.
Yeah.
But don't you find that to be quite hilarious as well? Like, he's a hilarious character. Like,
But not intentionally.
he's like this super nihilist, and he's like this.
Someone in the past, when they were writing the character bios, are like, okay, it'd be perfect. We're gonna have this guy who's in charge of armory who wants to blow shit up all the time, and he constantly wants to kill himself.
Yeah.
But Jody, don't forget, he didn't have the weapons.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. No.
This episode is fine. Like it's fine, but I feel like I've seen
it's
this
mediocre.
episode several times already in this series.
Not only in this series, but in every series before this, there was like 5 or 6 of these episodes.
Yeah, but that's not. I mean, that's not bad.
Star Trek character eats a kid. Star Trek character befriends this kid. Usually, sometimes the kid dies. This time, does not die. But yeah. This is
Everything
they
feels like
could've
a first contact in this show. Like,
well, yeah,
but
but
every
the
episode
nature of what
they're
it is.
acting
Yeah.
like noobs again, you know.
Well, they are noobs.
But
Yeah,
they're not
noobs.
though. They're very aware of other.
They've been out for 1 year.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the miners. Pardon me.
Oh no, not the
No.
miners. I meant this crew.
Yeah, I just meant like every time they meet a new race, it's just like it's the first episode again, kind of thing. Like they just like come at it super green.
Well, that's realistically what this show is, though. Is a whole bunch of first contact.
That's what I mean. Like the annoying stuff is what they're doing on purpose, and it's like,
Oh no, that's called Archer.
you have to feel like this. This is like the Star Trek's version of a period piece.
What I mean by I've seen this episode in this series already, it's the Archer stages and Uprising.
Yeah,
like I've seen that. Like, let's do something else. God damn. Like,
yeah, he's gonna do that like 10 more times too.
That's his thing.
That's
He's
not
an
inaccurate.
animal.
Actually, I think he actually does
bullies.
try to do that.
No, it's not.
He doesn't like bullies.
Yeah,
Doesn't like bullies
Yeah,
on
he doesn't.
Earth or anywhere else.
So, can I go back to the beginning for 1 second? How does the Enterprise get so far out without having a fuel supply? Like at least something a little more reliable than we're gonna fly around until we find a planet that has deuterium.
It's going to be installed next Tuesday.
Yeah, right.
I think that maybe they lost some of it in the battle with the Romulans.
Well, they said that in part of it. They said
Yeah.
they recently had a fight and all that. So
I think on a deep space mission, though, you have to expect to be able to resupply.
yeah.
Like I'm sure the Vulcans told them there are potential resupply outposts and things like that. Like,
they probably have set areas that they're supposed to be going to refuel, right?
No, you think?
yeah.
Yeah, like it's
Well,
not-
they didn't just happen to come across this place. Like they were literally going towards it. Like
Right.
that's
They were in the
maybe this
area.
is where they were supposed to be anyway.
And they said, "Well, we know you have deuterium, and we know we scanned from orbit because we really needed some. We hailed you, and you didn't answer. We decided to fly down. Like they're a little pushy for what they want to get.
Archer's always pushy though in this show.
And they're like, we want
Yeah.
5 power cells. He's like, no, you can have 2. And then it's like this whole argument about.
I think Scott Bakula thinks a good character, like when you want to make him look very respectable and whatnot, he has to be an ass. and that's just kind of what Archer is. Like,
No pushover.
yeah, he's just, I don't know. There's no diplomacy with this guy. Like, he's just, everything is like, meh, I'm gonna do it my way, and that's kind of how it is.
You want to hear my explanation on that?
Not really.
So Archer is a super nice guy, just like Scott Bakula is a super nice guy. So Archer, unlike all the other captains like Cisco and fucking anyway, whatever, you guys swear all the time, and like Picard and Janeway, who have dickish streaks, like real strong ones.
Oh yeah, they all do.
Yeah, Archer actually has to turn that on and play it, so it comes off disingenuous. But again, I think he's doing that on purpose, and I don't think necessarily Scott Bakula knows how to play a dick because he's a real nice guy.
Because he's not. He actually is not one. So he's just a bad actor.
Yeah, maybe, but at least at that part.
Isn't that
No,
kind
but
of
you
his
know what?
job,
No, but you know what? In the Zindi seasons, he
He actually is a total dick during then.
Well, we're not there yet.
Yeah,
We're not
Okay.
there
but
yet.
that's my interpretation of that. Like, he's just turning it on. Like, he's not good at disciplining the crew. He's not good at like being the hard guy. So it's just like this like fake version of it.
I think you're
Anyway.
right, Davan. I think he's also, I think early on in the episode, I mean, he says it in this episode. He's talking about his first couple of weeks out, and he finds out, hey man, this is not what I signed up for. I wanted to, scan solar
Chart
systems
shit.
and chart.
He's the only guy who wants to chart things.
Yeah.
Even a science officer doesn't want to.
Right. Every other series, when they're on like a charting mission, they're all bored.
They're
out of
like,
their
oh.
Yeah, they're all like,
oh my
like,
God.
He's like, I
This
love
is the
astronomy.
worst.
I'm just a big astronomy nerd, and I'm here to chart stars.
But
Yeah.
but what I'm trying, I think
like even Data appears bored all the time during those things. Like,
fascinating.
True.
He's fascinated.
But so you've got this crew that probably is a little out of their element, probably.
they are.
They
And
are.
he's having to make spot decisions. I mean, you got to give it to him. There's some elements of Archer that are pretty good. He's probably trained to this level, but he's having to act at this level without with that gap not filled, and he's trying to figure it out. So maybe I'm hard on the guy. I just don't like how he talks.
That's
I get
okay,
it.
Adam.
You have to get
I don't
used
know
to
what
it.
your problem is, Adam. What's your problem?
Wait, Jody, turn your back on me, please.
I don't have any idea why you're so upset about this.
Yeah.
Like, why are you
Hold on.
upset about that? I don't get it.
We're moving out here, guys. We're going to be the first to be out here. And,
But
we
know
can't
what,
be
Dave?
afraid of the
God,
wind.
I'm gonna have fucking nightmares now.
I'm just gonna do this for the rest of the podcast.
They're going to move around the room
The funniest
and
thing.
really own the space. They taught me this in acting school.
It's like Kevin says, since you called that out, that's all I see.
Yeah, it's actually your fault.
All right.
It's totally your fault. Anyway,
Jody, should we talk about the next scene in the show?
why not?
When this
Why
lady
not?
went up to get medical supplies from Phlox, and he was showing her a
Yes, I thought that was very interesting.
sea, what's that called? A starfish, of sorts.
Osmotic
and-
eel.
Oh, is that what it was
Osmotic
called?
eel.
He's
Yeah.
always trying to push the natural remedy. Say,
Yeah, he's a naturopath, but he gave her that. He's like, here, take this.
He's such a great
auto-suture."
character. Such a
He
great
is.
character.
I love him.
And the whole point of this whole
Yeah.
scene was that they're not these colonists are not telling Enterprise like the whole story about why they need these medical
Look
supplies.
who it is. You recognize this actress, fellas?
No, who is this?
She looks familiar.
I know. I just
Yeah.
can't see it.
Is this?
Let's just say that she does know what a pre-ganglionic fiber is,
Really?
What?
as opposed to a post-ganglionic nerve.
okay, so that's Bashir. Is she the one that beat him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What episode is that from?
Geez, what is that? You know what I'm
I don't
talking
know
about, Kevin. Yeah.
have
Yeah,
no
I know what you're
idea.
talking about
Like,
too, but
yeah. That's her.
okay. There's also a famous singer in this episode, known as Jesse James Rutherford, from the rock band The Neighborhood. Is that you guys know what that is?
Why is every eighth
No
person
idea.
in the world named Jesse James?
It's a cool sounding name.
I guess so.
Okay, the episode was Armageddon Game.
Armageddon game. Okay, and she was in that.
Oh
Okay.
yeah.
No, I didn't recognize her from that. But yeah, so she takes all the medical supplies, leaves, and then down on the planet, Archer's talking to DePaul. He's like, something's not right here. We should, this doesn't feel right, et cetera, et cetera. And this is when like the Klingons showed up. Because up here with the most charismatic crew you ever met, Mayweather, Reed, and Hoshi. What a team.
Look, all right, I'll let it slide this time. Keep going.
They're like, there's a ship coming in, and it's Klingons, and they're hiding here from it. And then down here,
I like the Klingons here. The ship looks great.
Yeah, it was a cool looking ship. Yeah, help me get this pump going here.
Clancy Brown is a Klingon. What else do you want? This is a good episode, fellas.
Is Clancy? He's not in this episode.
He's the main Klingon. That's Clancy Brown.
No, he isn't.
No,
No,
It's
he's
not?
not.
no,
That's not Clancy
Robertson
Brown.
Dean.
Robertson Dean plays the Klingon captain.
Who? I'm gonna
Captain
look this guy up.
Korok.
Captain Korok with a K. Anyway, he's like, don't
Hey,
let
spell
them know
this
we're
guy's
here.
last name.
The actor?
Yeah.
Dean. Anyway, here's the Klingon ship that Adam was talking about. One shot of it here. It does look like a bit of a cargo ship.
Yeah, totally. You've got those big containers
Yeah.
underneath it.
Yeah, and then from the other angle, you see it here. So it's like it's a modest looking vessel. Like
The
'cause they
ships
go on
always look good in this show.
Yeah, they do. They're using transporters. They don't need to shuttle pod down. Like they're
not lame like Archer.
No, but these guys don't wear like Klingon armor. They're more like in cloth and like
No, these
more-
guys are like
not part of the
blue collar
military.
Klingons. Like
Yeah, these are
they're
just blue.
These
Yeah.
are just guys that work on a freighter and they're bullying people.
Right. And he's like, "You're my friend. Come here. Let's have a hug.
But first, let's eat.
But first, let's eat and let's have some hospitality."
I would have liked to seen that scene. I wish they would have done.
Yeah, but then it turns into an Archer and Trip into Paul are hiding over here. I liked here that her Vulcan hearing came in because they always thought in the original series Spock's hearing was always shown to be better, so clearly hers would be. And they're like, "Whoa, you can hear from across all the way over there." That's something I think I use that more as the show goes on.
I don't remember, honestly.
They have used it, yeah, but I wouldn't say it was like any pivotal point or anything. It was just
These
kind
two they're dumbfounded by this.
My God, this guy isn't Clancy Brown at all.
no shit.
Not Clancy Brown at all. Exactly.
Not even a little bit. Not even 10
Not even his cousin.
No relation at all.
Does he have the same last name?
Well.
Anyway, so yeah, he's like, "You want us to respect you," because they beat this guy down for not showing it.
Oh man, they took his bandana off. What's
Took
the
his
point?
bandana
They
off.
took the bandana off. He had to go to makeup that day. The injustice here. And then they beat him up, and then they said, "We're done with it. Or you can have your 2 or 3 days to get the rest of what you owe us, or whatever." And then they just kind of beam out of here, and boom, see you there. This is what inspires them to like, well, maybe we should fight back. They kind of explain that we tried to fight back like 3 years ago, and a bunch of people got killed, and they killed extra people on top of that. And what do you do?
Including, of course, the kid's dad.
Yeah, the kid's dad. He is an orphan now, of course. Is she the mom of the kid?
I thought she was the mom of the kid, personally.
I never thought that. Interesting.
I never thought that. Yeah.
I don't think we
well,
saw it.
Because she
very
refers
beginning.
to like
No,
yeah.
his parents are dead. Doesn't he say that?
The one, at least the dad.
He says
was
his
dead,
dad is dead. That's why I thought the mom.
and the Klingons killed him. And again, this hair growing.
None
out
of
the
you
top
guys
the-
thought that was Clancy Brown.
no.
No, I didn't think it was Clancy
Okay.
Brown.
Okay, fine.
No, maybe his second cousin. I don't know.
Twice removed.
Twice removed.
Sam has a comment here. Davan seems like a South Park fan. I don't know what that's supposed to imply, but
I don't know.
Me neither.
But
I
and
watched the
Sam
first
also
few
wants to know if
seasons.
we've been to an A&W.
yes, I have been to an A&W.
Yes, I also have been to an A&W.
The world's saltiest
When I-
burgers.
When I
But
was
damn
a
good
very
root
young
beer.
lad.
Mhm. root beer floats. Anyway,
You really jumped in on that one, Adam.
I love the root beer.
You're a
You know
big
what?
fan of the root beer,
I
apparently.
really do like the these uniforms for the planet, all of them.
even the one with the heels with a T'Pol.
Well, the heels are a bit much, but other than that, I
They
like
seem
them all.
functional.
Yeah. Anyway, he's
Pockets
like, "Hey,
and
I'm going to stay
belts and-
behind, and I'm going to hang out with this kid. I'm going to become I'm a good guy. I'll help out this orphan kid."
Sometimes I have an accent, sometimes I don't, but it's fine.
Yeah, I feel like they should have brought their
Sucks.
sunglasses with them. Just for the record,
I'm not going to defend.
Yeah,
Trip
because
at
they
all
have
in this
those.
show.
They have those like Ray Bans that they're always wearing.
they wore them in the volleyball game with that was with Clancy Brown.
That's Clancy
That
Brown.
was Clancy
Oh
Brown.
yeah.
That was Clancy Brown when they were playing like the
Yeah.
space Quidditch or whatever it was, space lacrosse.
Those are very nice tapestries.
Yeah. Oh, did you want one? You get
Whoa,
all of them. Fight off the Suliban. Ha ha ha.
That was a good episode too. You guys like that one, right?
Yeah, we did
Yes.
like that one
We liked that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
because of
Well,
Clancy
that
Brown.
Clancy Brown.
Yeah,
Yeah, Clancy Brown made that episode. They should bring
Clancy
him
Brown
in.
makes everything better.
He does.
Anyway, so then the conversation up on the ship here, where it's T'Pol and Archer talking about what they should do. He's like, I know that we shouldn't get involved. I
This
know-
is the typical Archer scene where he looks out the window and he's distraught.
yeah. He's soul searching, guys.
Yeah.
What do I do? How do,
That's not just Archer, though. All the captains do that.
Mhm.
Ah, that's
Car
true.
does that a lot.
Except for
Picard
Kirk,
did that a
there's
lot.
no windows on the original Enterprise.
Yeah.
They're just staring at the painted graphic that they keep
All
putting on
kids.
there.
Kirk would just stare at a wall and go, "Bones, what do I do? What do I do, Bones?"
But isn't
Think
this
I
when
love
he
this
starts
music
talking
too.
about like the Klingons owing him? Like we did this for the Klingons, and we
Yeah,
did that.
they owe us some favors, and she's like, they don't give a damn what you did for the high.
Yeah, they don't
Council."
give a shit.
Like,
What are you
get
on?
real. Yeah.
Yeah, in my
That's one
book,
thing I
they
like
owe us
about
a
T'Pol,
favor.
though. She
She
basically
calls him
tells
out.
him.
She calls him out
yeah.
all the time. Yeah.
She basically calls him out constantly, but she does it in a way that you're like, is she trying to be an ass?
She
Yeah, I
just
think
knows.
is.
She just knows the truth, right? And
Yes.
he
Yeah.
doesn't. Is always the point. This is part of the reason I think we have a hard time with him sometimes, is because he's
She's
so
like, you have
aloof.
such a big head, but yet you don't use it.
Yeah, and I guess to
Look at
Davin's
that
point,
forehead, by the way.
it's
Wow.
it's a period piece, big
Mhm.
Irish forehead.
That was a good film.
Um,
You know the thing
Anyway.
about T'Pol though, like I really like when they do use it for comedy, and I just feel like they didn't do it very
Yeah.
often. But when they do use it for comedy, it's always hilarious.
she does have
Well,
a sense
she
of humor.
progresses more and more into sense of humor as time goes on in this show.
Oh, I thought it went
she
the
also
opposite way. Her and Trip
in
just
Car-
get like super involved in their like own thing, and it like gets really kind of.
one thing about her is that she's so necessary to this show because
Absolutely.
the other guy, if say Trip was the first officer, like they would have been blown up in the first week.
Oh, they would be dead. Yeah.
Those two,
Dead,
yeah.
dead
Oh,
many
yeah.
times over.
With Reed as the next guy in command who wants to kill himself every 2
Yeah.
minutes. you know?
Imagine you have to do two different missions. That means Reed is going to be a first officer temporarily for one
Right.
of the two missions.
Like,
oh,
Reed
god.
Kill it.
if Malcolm
Reed
had
will.
his way, they'd be running out of fuel, and he'd be like, "Well, we might as well just give up."
we should just
Blow it
convince
up.
ourselves
We're
we're
out
all
of
gonna
fuel.
die. and-
Self-destruct.
Malcolm is kind of
Self-destruct.
like what's the robot's name in Hitchhiker's Guide to a Galaxy? Anybody
Marvin.
remember? Marvin. He reminds me a lot like Marvin. He's like, oh well, might as well die. It's like that's just
Depressed
Malcolm.
robot, yeah.
Yeah, depressed robot Malcolm.
And Davin, you're right about the
Okay.
about the comic role that she plays, but it's subtle all the time.
Like when
It's
she's
under-
trying to have like those scenes where she's having Archer and Trip on. Like
Yeah.
she's clearly just like messing.
Oh,
with
the
them.
Carbon Creek
They don't-
episode. I mean that.
The Carbon Creek episode is
Yeah.
a perfect example. Of
My
that.
mother's mother.
So your grandmother?
Your great
Yeah,
grandmother?
yeah. She's like my third foremother or something like that. They're just like my. And she's just like cutting the breadstick with the knife and fork, like super precise and stuff like that. Yeah.
Not only that, but
comedy
she's
is
using a
really
butter knife, which is even more annoying.
good.
Anyway. Let's keep moving here. So with the scene where Archer goes down to talk to, I can't even remember this colony leader guy.
Who cares?
I don't know if we
Yeah,
even
it doesn't
get his
matter.
name, but he's
Fake Zephyrin Cochran.
fake Zephram Cochrane, who doesn't invent warp drive, just mines deuterium. And they're working on this crawler thing, I think they call it. He's like, basically, it's just
It's a
chat of,
backhoe.
convincing this guy to fight the Klingons or not. What are we gonna do? I don't know. For me, this conversation or this whole scene didn't really do much. I didn't feel like it wasn't bad, but it wasn't necessarily, it didn't blow me away either. Yes, that's true, Dennis May.
I agree with you, Dennis May.
Check out our D Space 9 at 9 coverage every Tuesday,
all
right now,
time.
every Wednesday night.
I
Just
disagree.
getting into the good stuff.
We're getting
I
into the good
disagree.
stuff.
You're wrong,
But
Jody.
anyway.
You're wrong.
But here on
Jody.
Mondays, we talk about Star Trek Enterprise.
That's right, we do.
And this particular episode called Marauders. Anyway,
So up until now, like I'm in this episode. I like this episode a lot so far. And then
Yeah.
when they started training them to like fight, I thought this was only when the episode starts to pick up.
oh really? I
That
was-
one move where like T'Pol's like, here's how you evade a Klingon. It's just like, come on now.
In the spirit of Jaemeel, desperate for a musical montage of them training.
Yeah, I would have liked a montage.
It's a montage.
like a real like an 80s style montage would have been nice.
Yeah.
'Cause
These
they come up with
Klingons
this whole plan.
do suck. As far as like being.
Yeah,
like,
well, like they were fighting
warriors
like
and
the
stuff.
lamest Klingons they possibly could have fought.
Yeah.
Right.
Welcome to Jurassic Park.
Like,
Every time I saw this, I was like, that was the first thing I thought of.
so there's this whole like
And
everybody
then this
got-
whole, I don't know if you guys were a fan of MASH, right?
Yeah, I love
MASH.
MASH. Yeah.
Yeah, me too. And this,
It's like
this
the
scene
bugging
reminded
out.
me of the whole thing. The bugging out, yeah, the
Yeah,
bugging out
yeah.
episode, yeah. Just reminded me of that.
But you know what? They seem to work out really hard to do that. And like, where's the rest of the crew? Send them all down.
No,
yeah, we
You know
don't,
what else?
most of the Enterprise crew we never.
we don't have that
see.
kind of money on this show for that many extras.
No,
True.
we,
You know
we
what-
only have
you know
This
what
was on
else
the
works out
CW
really
for
hard,
Christ's
Adam?
sake.
Pardon?
You know what else works out really hard?
What?
This cast.
But
Anyway, the whole so they're training them how to shoot with the guns, and then there's this whole thing.
oh,
with
the Star Wars episode.
Well, Star Trek can have their own little balls that move around and they
Yeah.
shoot at.
Yeah, they do that in the holodeck. Come on now.
They don't have this. They don't have a holodeck on this
Go-
ship.
Guinan's a level 13 or something.
But here, so Hoshi turns out to be a badass with a rifle, and she's like showing them like boom, boom, boom.
Wasn't she
And-
trained though?
But this is
Didn't-
a callback to the other
Yeah,
episode
yeah,
where she
that's right.
couldn't fire a weapon, right?
Yeah.
So
Right.
she's learned.
That's why
since then,
Malcolm
so-
is all like, ooh.
Malcolm's like, I did that. Maybe
Yeah.
when I
Maybe we
really
don't
want to
all
die,
have to
she'll
die.
shoot me.
Right.
He's
Malcolm's
training,
already
he's
She's got
training
an
her
awfully
to
nice
shoot him.
bum.
Exactly. She got an awfully nice.
Awfully nice bomb. I taught her that. Mhm.
That's, literally, that screenshot looks like that's what he just said. That's a pretty nice
It's
looking
a
bum.
nice.
Oh,
You
pretty
know.
nice. Bum.
That bum.
Bum.
That bomb.
That bum.
Mhm. Have you,
I
have you
love
seen
Malcolm.
Japan's
You
bomb?
guys are
He's
so
like,
crazy.
have you seen Paul's bum? It's fantastic.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I rubbed her in the decontamination chamber.
Yeah.
And then I left it everywhere. And the dog. Oh, no, that was a different episode.
There's also this whole scene here where Trip comes to talk to Archer, and he's like, "Do you think this is a good idea?" And Archer's like, "I don't know,
I
maybe."
don't care.
I don't
How
care."
else are we going to fill 42 minutes?
Yeah. He's like, "Really? Everyone could
I
die."
don't know, Captain.
I don't know, Captain. And then to this point with the whole thing where T'Pol is teaching her. What did she?
They
she
should have
calls it-
took this scene out and gave me a scene with the Klingons eating. That would have made
It's
this
called.
episode better.
It's drawn from the Vulcan martial art called Sus Mana.
right, Susmana, which is basically you move out of the way.
Yeah,
Yeah, so-
Yeah,
dodge.
so Susanna
Dave just summed it up
literally means-
perfectly.
That's the direct translation. You do a barrel roll, and you
Do a barrel roll.
I like how she was explaining the bat lift and the mech lifts, but then she's like, "Come on, Travis, hit me with the baseball bat or the cricket bat or whatever it is."
You won't. hurt.
And yeah, she's like, "Boom, watch me! You can't even get me." And then she taught them all to move out of the way. really quickly.
Don't get. Yeah. What's the strategy? Don't get hit.
Yeah, if someone's swinging a stick at your head or a knife, move. That's the whole strategy of this martial art. So
That's why it's so
Ancient
easy to learn.
Chinese secret, huh?
mhm.
Remember from Wayne's World? Yeah.
And then the kid trips some water and says, "Well, I want to fight too." And he's like, "Well, you won't be fighting down there. Reed was right. You stick up there in the mountains, so you don't get in trouble." You know?
Yeah. Yeah. Here, boy.
You hear? And he's like, "Yes, sir."
Surprised he didn't put his cowboy hat back on.
He's like, "You leave this to the adults. We'll fight these Klingons. 7
A lot of
Klingons."
times-
They're
I would
barely
find it
adults,
weird,
though.
A lot of times the kids are annoying. This kid's not annoying.
He's not
That's
annoying.
the
No,
good part of the show.
Yeah, he
But
is.
I also
Yeah,
don't
he
care
is.
about him either in this
No.
story.
No.
You know, I don't. You know,
Yeah,
or
There's
maybe
no
you ever
attachment
seen
to him at
a
all.
pan-fried catfish?
Yeah, there's no attachment at all to this kid. Like, you literally, like, if he dies in the next scene, you're like, okay.
any of them.
I was hoping for it, but it didn't happen.
I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm
when
not
the Klingons
necessarily
are
tied
like,
to
maybe
any
we'll
of
kill the kid, I was like, maybe.
I hope so.
Yeah, and they have their final little, I don't know, Archer and colony leader here chat. They get the call that the Klingons are in orbit, and it's time for the grand master plan to play out here.
See, when you
and-
know you're like 30 minutes into an Enterprise episode when everyone's sweaty.
Yeah.
That's how you look. Yeah, that's
There you
real.
go.
That's some glisten there. He's like, we've been working hard.
That's yeah, Archer's there. Look at that. See, that's some 30 minutes in sweat right there on Enterprise.
Yeah.
The amount of
And then-
baby oil that must be in his contract is insane.
It's like a ghost town when the Klingons show up. It's like all
So-
quiet.
Here's what I don't understand again with this episode. So they move the town,
Yeah, like
Which-
10 feet.
which is fine when like people are showing up by land, you know, because oh, it's over there. I must be mistaken. But when you're beaming down and you have like an idea of how the coordinates should look,
Yes,
it seems a
good-
little.
that's a good
Weird.
point. That's a good point.
This
Uh,
episode plays on the assumption that the Klingons have been here so many times that they just know where everything is and they're super comfortable with the layout. Like, and they would like notice even the slightest change, which is kind
No,
of
but they
hard to
didn't.
believe.
But they didn't notice the slightest change.
But
Yeah,
these guys aren't
exactly.
military.
So it's
We
like-
got to remember that. These guys are essentially
Yeah, they're just
callers.
marauders. Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't even make the military. So what you're saying is
They're
that
not even good enough for the Klingon Defense Force.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
It's not a good day to die.
No.
Not for these guys, no.
And he's like, "Come out! Where are you? This is no hospitality. I'm not Clancy Brown."
Clancy.
Not even a little.
Where are
Not
your
even a little-
tapestries?
Would you want one of our tapestries?
Take it.
I haven't even
Come here
received
for
the
your
tapestry.
Tapestries. Yes. They're looking in like the different buildings. I don't know. They don't have scanners. These
Clancy
Klingons.
Brown.
That's not Clancy Brown. We've already been through this.
This guy looks like he could be Michael Dorn's like cousin, though. I think.
Yeah, that's Michael
probably
Dorn, Clancy Brown.
He'll probably suck as much then.
Oh.
Whoa! Oh my god!
Shots fired. Shots fired. It didn't mere mention. Anyway, they can't find them, and this
Cousin
guy,
of Worf is useless too.
this guy got the job as like the
The
guy,
guy
who
who runs.
runs, and like he's very lucky to get shot by these Klingons in the back.
Well,
But-
they're not very good shots either. Like they took a couple shots and they were not even close. Like
no.
these are like the equivalent to like stormtroopers in this type of environment.
They get them with this tripwire thing, and like they pull out of the sand, and then they start firing.
Yeah, like
at
this
them.
episode turns into fucking Home Alone. Like it's oh,
Yeah,
that's
there's-
not a
that's
a
what I
compliment.
liked about it.
Surprised he's not
Oh.
holding that backwards.
Yeah.
He knows how to fire.
Malcolm's awesome. He knows how to fire a weapon. Let me
You
tell
know,
you about
having your face that
afraid of
close
water.
to that phaser fire could
But-
be good for you.
but became a submariner. And my uncle,
He was afraid of
he
drowning.
died in that submarine.
Anyway, so this lady who she was well taught by T'Pol in the art of avoiding getting hit. All right, because
Tuck and roll, tuck and roll.
tuck and roll.
Here comes-
and then
Seuss, whatever it was. Mana.
Susmana.
It worked out though because they can't hit her. Not with their blades.
I love
Anyway,
this scene. This is like
this guy goes into the tent and he's like, "Oh, I see. You went out there." But then it's just Archer.
This part reminds
Hits
me
him
of
with a
Jurassic
stick.
Park as well. You see like the
Yeah.
shadowy figure outside the tent. You know?
Archer just hits him with a stick and goes, "Yeah, man.
Archer's like my stick.
Yeah. You like that? Ha!" And then
Why
this
does he
fight-
have all this blood on him though? Like, is that blood?
nah.
No, because
he's
35
crazy.
minutes into an Enterprise episode.
Oh, okay.
It's-
Right
That's
on
just
schedule,
sweat and
right
dirt,
on
I think.
schedule.
Yeah, well, he's
Uh,
got like cuts and shit though.
His shirt is all ripped apart though. I think they're supposed to be dressed like the colonists. I think that
Yeah, I think that was it too.
Oh, they're just supposed to look all ghetto.
they're not supposed to you're not supposed to know that they're humans and Vulcans
Oh,
fight.
okay.
necessarily.
I guess that's why they covered T'Pol's ears.
Yeah, I think and with all the bandanas, so that they would all look kind of together. Because you can't tell if that guy's a human.
Oh,
or
skip
not.
make a day again.
Like
Yeah.
the makeup special effects guys probably had a great time with this one.
They had to spend a lot of money on these Klingons, guys. They didn't have
Yeah.
enough
True.
money left over, so they got more
Fair
bandanas.
point.
And then I loved.
And this was
is my
on the
favorite part of the episode.
UPN network.
This is my favorite part of the episode. When T'Pol
That's
shows
not
up.
T'Pol.
Well,
No,
That's not
definitely
T'Pol.
doing that,
No.
Not T'Pol.
No,
Not
No.
T'Pol.
not Clancy
That-
Brown either, though.
Nope.
That Clancy Brown or T'Pol.
it might be.
That's
a
T'Pol.
little bit.
That's T'Pol.
That's T'Pol.
Yeah,
That's not T'Pol.
that one might be.
That's not T'Pol.
No, no.
Who
Jesus.
does this
Also-
like
Not at all.
this
Not
whole thing
T'Pol.
where she does this flip up from the ground?
A kip up thing? No, she does. Yeah.
That's not Jolene Blaylock.
No,
No.
Jolene Blaylock has a little bit more on the top.
Okay,
And a nice bum.
And a nice bum.
yeah.
Look at that bum.
She's got an awfully nice bum.
She's got an awfully nice bum.
But I liked her whole like fighting here, like whether it was really her or not didn't really matter to me.
Well, You're not gonna
And
have
then
her
she
doing
run.
it.
It's all happened very quickly. Yeah, and then these Klingons
That's
are
not
like,
her either.
no, that's
Nope.
not her either.
Also
That's
not
it.
Clancy Brown.
Also not Clancy Brown
Or Michael Dorn.
or Michael Dorn.
That's
Uh,
not Michael Dorn.
Yeah.
Every Klingon played by Clancy Brown.
Played by not Clancy Brown.
Wait, that's not Clancy Brown either.
You can do worse.
Yeah. Oh, and then he got out the Klingon binoculars. I was like, he brought these? Like he packed this for the trip?
He had those in the first scene where they came down.
He
He's
did?
an avid bird watcher.
Otherwise known as binoculars.
He's part of the Audubon Society.
Yeah, you see?
Nice.
He's a bird watching Klingon. I
Bird
love
watching
I love
Klingon.
the sparrows on this planet. I'm
Look-
looking for a blue jay for
Look
my
at Kevin.
collection.
Kevin's like, what the fuck?
Hey, it's
Wait,
more
there's
fun
grass.
more fun than watching the episode.
Yeah, like our version of it would be better, where he's at the bird watching.
We should have did
society.
this for minefields. It would have been so much better.
Yeah, is that
I
Jillian
should have been there
Blaylock?
for mine.
Yes, that's Jolene Blaylock right
No,
there.
that's Clancy Brown.
That could be Clancy Brown though. Clancy
You
Brown's
never
probably
know
in
'cause
there. I
there's a
think he's
bad-
behind though.
I bet you they had more fun shooting this than we did watching it.
Oh, probably.
I
You know.
hope so.
Me too.
Right?
It sort of reminds me of a Monty Python skit. You know, run away, run away.
It kind of feels like a western in some ways.
I didn't
Well,
know it
it's-
was a Basing Stoke.
It's a rip off
Westphalia.
anyway. Like this is essentially the Magnificent Seven.
Hey.
It's also based
Same
on something
idea.
called what's it called? Kansas or something like
No
We're
idea.
not in Kansas anymore, Dave.
Kentucky.
Not familiar with it.
Okay.
Kansas City, Kentucky.
It might come up in fun facts. Just
Oh,
saying up
okay.
there, Adam.
Oh.
It may do that.
And then the fight continues, and like they lure them over. Like we gotta get them to come over. Again, why doesn't he just call up to his ship and say, "Why don't you like photon torpedo them or beam everybody who's over there up, and then put them in my brig?" Again, not smart.
That
Well,
is a
these
good
guys
point.
aren't the like brightest bulbs of the Klingon Empire. Like clearly,
Clearly not.
Yeah, Klingon transporter
like
treat.
they
you
walk
suck.
they walk in unison together in small packed groups. while
Like,
they're
what if they
attacking
had a bazooka?
Like-
Would they just have taken these guys out?
Well,
like one
love
grenade
the,
would have took out these all these guys on one shot. Like
I love the camouflage of the wells. Just the piles of rocks. Like
Yeah,
yeah.
it's not
They'll
camouflage.
never
well
figure out
at
this.
all.
We
Wait.
covered these. We covered these with rocks and dirt.
rocks don't have bolts.
Yeah, and
No,
he's
It just
just
looks like they cheaply buried a dog. There's
Anyway,
just
oh
some
God.
rock on it.
Oh God, they're gonna discover it too soon.
yeah. Like
Not
this is what
conspicuous
this
at
was their
all.
grand plan, to cover them up with these rocks. You can tell there's something going on there. Anyway, by the time he figures it out, it's like too late, and then they activate it with this.
Maybe on Kronos they have like small groups of rocks like that, and they're like, "Ah, that's normal."
The way
Just
they
keep
were
walking by.
talking, I was hoping that this would be a much larger explosion.
Yeah.
This is like the most basic.
it's just like a
sound
ring of
like
fire is what we get.
Well,
pyrotechnics ever.
If you notice, Malcolm isn't the one that's hitting the button.
Yeah.
Yeah, and by
There's
the
a
way,
reason for that. They're like, we don't want you to kill everybody.
they're
we just
surrounded
want
by
you to
fire, and there's no like reach for the communicator to beam us out of here.
Yeah.
You know,
We'll
Or
stand in
seriously,
fire
just
and
jump
listen
through
to
that
them.
thin wall of fire.
Right.
There's a Johnny Cash reference in here somewhere.
Anyway, he's like, I'm gonna go. They say, you go over there, and he's like, listen, man, you fire that weapon, you're gonna kill us all. You better get out of here, or we're
Now
gonna
go back. Right there. Okay. No, go
This one?
Yeah, right there. So you're like, he literally says that. He goes, you don't want to fire because you'll kill everybody. But then you have Reed in the background still pointing a rifle at these guys.
True.
Well, he'll kill everybody. You don't care.
He's
Yeah, he'll
always
kill
ready to
everybody.
die.
He's
Yeah.
always ready to get
Yeah, he's
shot
like-
or shoot
He's
somebody
like,
else.
I'll do it, Captain. I'll do it.
Down in the
Promise me
submarine, my
explosions.
uncle.
Yeah. Anyway,
He's got a very nice bum.
He's just using that sight to get a closer look at their bums.
Yeah.
yes.
He's like,
That bum.
Klingon's got an awfully nice bum.
Yeah.
he's yelling from the things. Have you seen T'Pol's bum?
She's
It's
got an
quite
awfully
nice.
nice bum.
She's got an awfully nice bum, Klingons.
And then they just beam away, like
The
I
ball,
was like,
distract the Klingons with your bum.
there's no way these Klingons don't come back with more people. And
Well, you get the
Or
impression
with
that
the
they're just
same
kind of
amount
like
of people on another day and kill them all.
yeah.
we don't like your deuterium anyway. We're gonna go somewhere else.
Yeah, we can get it
Oh,
anywhere,
what a-
and
It's not fit for a garbage scow.
Or destroy you with weapons from space.
yeah, they could fire
Now
on
this-
them from space.
This scene just reminds me of Red Dawn.
Oh, that's a big plot hole, actually. This episode just lost a point for me.
This is where, I mean, honestly, I agree. And I was, like I said, I was liking it up until, they started training, but now it lost the momentum completely. And then it just ended.
Yeah, as usual. Yeah.
Yeah, he goes out here, he gives the kid some
like,
schematics.
I already told you not to be in this damn ship. Why are
Yeah,
you
he's like,
here
"You're not in
again,
Starfleet."
you dumb kid?
Anyway, gives them some schematics. Like he's like, here's some boring homework for you to read.
Yeah, that's not a security risk at all.
He's like, well, I guess not. I guess it's
Just
open source.
leaving the full schematics to your ship just laying around on
Yeah,
the random
Don't
planet.
give this to the Klingons if they ever come
where
back.
Klingons
Yeah,
come by.
when the
all the
Klingons
time.
come back, destroy this before they get it. Okay,
Yeah, he's like, okay,
promise
man.
me that.
Promise me. Okay, you got it, Trip. And then they just say like, oh, thanks for the extra deuterium, because originally it was like 200 liters and they gave him like 600 liters or something.
No, I gave him 2,000 liters.
2,000 liters.
2,000, okay, even more.
We've got a surplus now, Captain.
Oh, good. And then they just get in their little pod and they fly home. And then these guys look at them. They go, oh, those were nice guys. See you later.
Would have been
Nothing-
I
great
just wanted the scene where they get back to the ship and like Trip's just like, oh man, Captain, this
Right
material
here,
actually really
I'd like to
does
see
suck.
Klingons materializing again.
Yeah, the Klingons just materialize. And they go,
That would have been
Oh,
awesome. if
wow,
they
It,
just
that
shoot
would've
all
been-
literally
these
ended.
guys.
It literally ended
Wow.
with like the transporter beam from the Klingon ship showing back up again. That
Yeah.
would have been a great
To be
ending.
continued. That would have been
No,
not
to be
even to
continued.
be
Weapon
continued,
from
just that's
space.
the end. Use your imagination.
Mhm.
Yeah, use your imagination. Yeah, exactly.
Don't listen
Well,
to Archer.
even though this episode wasn't that much fun, in my opinion, there might be some fun facts.
There is. It's funny on Alpha Memory Alpha. Pardon me. There's really not a lot, but so I found some otherwise. But so we start off here. Among the recycled phasers used by the Deuterium miners are Gem Hadar hand phasers, Bajoran phaser rifles from Deep Space Nine, and the Klingon sniper rifle from Star Trek VI: Undiscovered Country.
I did notice the Bajoran.
Nice.
I was pretty sure it was a Bajoran phaser rifle.
They really
anytime-
did blow all the budget on the
Anytime
Klingon, like,
Star Trek 6 is represented, I'm happy.
We also talked about the Susmana. It's also named after the Enterprise producer Mike Sussman. So I guess it's
Oh
really
yes, Michael
Sussmana.
Sussman.
Yeah, you can see like a couple of them there. I think that one in the very front is a Bajoran hand phaser.
Oh right. Yeah, the one with the yeah.
So this episode was inspired by the Wild West film, The Magnificent Seven, of
There you
1960, which was itself inspired by the Japanese film, The Seven Samurai
Seven
from
Samurai,
1954. The colony represents the village in that film, the Deuterium represents the rice, and the Enterprise crew represent the 7 heroes. Ironically, in this one, the 7 is the stated number of bad guys.
Oh, okay.
But you only
There's
see
7
like 5
Klingons.
of them.
Hey, Dave, can you bring up a shot of the village or the compound, I guess?
Yep.
So the black walkways seen in the village are standard interconnecting rubber mats used in bars and restaurants.
Yep. I picked up on that.
Yeah.
I never noticed that, and I worked in a restaurant for a while.
Slip mats.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
the-
slip
The
mats.
dish pit slip mats.
Here's one. Sorry.
You got a slip mat there.
Oh yeah, they are totally. Neat.
Star Trek previously spoofed the Magnificent Seven in Star Trek Deep Space Nine, the Magnificent Ferengi in 1998.
I don't remember that episode.
And Robertson Dean, not Clancy Brown, who plays Korak, also played a Romulan pilot in Next Gen, Face of the Enemy, and a Riemann officer in in Star Trek Nemesis. So he's been around.
But he's still not Clancy Brown.
Correct.
All right.
Wayne King, who plays Klingon number 1, also played Klingon Borg in Star Trek First Contact, and an Orpheus Minor in Enterprise Demons, and was a stunt double for Michael McFall's nameless character in Star Trek Voyager Imperfection. So again, lots of reuse of characters in this episode. Okay, and then we got into this whole explanation on chemicals and chemistry about what deuterium is. And long and short, guys, it's worth $1.50 per US gallon. Or pardon me, per gram.
Based on how did they give that a monetary value? I don't get
Okay,
it.
so the miners ask if Archer knows how much labor is required to refine a liter of pure deuterium, and he replies he does not. While their process is not known in real life, it is a fairly simple process that does not involve mining or drilling. Deuterium H2 is one of the 2 stable isotopes of hydrogen, and the other being normal hydrogen atom. Okay, you don't want me to get into it, but it's here if you want to read it. So long and short,
I don't.
$1.50 per US gram. So it's got some worth. So Dave, Jody, that's about all there is. There's not a lot to say about this episode other than those fun facts.
It's based
All right,
on it's based on something else. Basically, is
All right. Well, let's move on to ratings.
Was it
then.
profitable?
was it a profit? Do you want me to chew your tube grubs for you?
They're pre-chewed.
They're pre-chewed and
Like
slimy.
cola. Slimiest cola in the galaxy.
I don't do enough drugs to put up with this.
All right, let's rate this episode. Hold on. Yeah. All right, ratings. Okay, Jody, what would you give Marauders?
It was just boring. 6.5.
Oh, you guys liked Dead Stop though, right? That was a great episode.
He liked Dead Stop.
I like Dead Stop. Yeah.
Oh, Dead
I did as
Stop's
well.
good shit.
Yeah.
Did I give Dead
Adam?
Stop?
No,
like
it
a
isn't
9?
Minefield.
I'll
it's
give it a
not.
6.5 as well. I'm with Jody on this one.
6.5.
Like, it wasn't like it was a terrible episode.
No, it was
just
okay. It was a
boring.
filler. It was like one of those episodes where, oh crap, I gotta wait another week for another good one.
Yeah.
5.
Ooh.
Or as I like to call
Oh.
them, Counselor Troy episodes.
I'm also at a 5, Dave. I've seen this episode in this series already.
Literally almost the same.
Davan.
And Davan?
A 6. I'd like to give Dead Stop a 9 and A Night in Sick Bay an 8.
Dead Stop a 9?
Yeah,
An 8, you
that's
said?
a great episode. I love that whole idea of this like station that just fixes things and like
Yeah.
pretty
Yeah.
sweet.
Yeah, it showed.
And it's the one episode where I really like Trip. Trip's actually hilarious in it.
Yeah. Where is
I don't know
that?
if I'd go that far,
3.6.
but all
What
right.
is that episode?
Your inquiry was not recognized.
Wait, is that
Minefield,
Minefield at 3.6? Oh my god.
Only because you're bringing it up to with your 9. The 2 zeros are really bringing it
It
down.
is hot garbage. Get over it.
But
Terrible episode.
Does it even? Is it? I think it is our lowest rated episode.
It's down there.
Oh no,
Terra
it's
Nova.
tied with Terra Nova.
Terra Nova is a terrible episode.
Oh, Terra Nova's like so much worse. You guys crazy.
No, it isn't. It's literally the same thing.
I gave it a 7, and I have to hold this highlight of
Actually,
shame.
I think he got a highlight of shame because of that.
I gave it a 7, which is 2 less than you.
And actually, you know what, Dave? You better highlight Davan too, because I think he deserves a highlight of shame.
Yeah.
Highlight of prestige.
No, shame. It's called shame.
This
I always
this
confuse
episode
those
is
two
this
things.
episode. Our collective average tonight is 5.8. This has a 6.6 on IMDb. It's another Rick Berman, Brandon Braga. I think these guys were trying to write every episode.
They were,
David-
yeah. That's the
David
biggest problem
Wilcox.
with this shit.
And who would you say is
Yeah.
the feature character of this story? Is it it just
Well,
ensemble?
I think
Ensemble.
I think it's
Ens-
Archer.
I would say it's the
Paul,
lead
but-
minor.
We don't even know his name after
James
talking about
Cromwell.
him.
Yeah.
James Cromwell.
Clancy Brown,
Clancy Brown.
feature character.
Clancy Brown.
right.
Right, Clancy
Best
Brown.
character in the episode that wasn't in it.
What Jody? What episode comes next?
Well, Dave, I'm very glad you asked. It is actually called, what is it
Great
now?
one.
It is
know.
the 7th, I think, isn't it?
Oh, that's the one where T'Pol goes after the
T'Pol and
president.
Archer embark on a top secret mission to capture a fugitive played by Bruce
Enos.
Davidson, who has eluded Vulcan authorities for nearly 20 years. 20 years!
He's a Vulcan.
This
fugitive?
is not a good episode.
Which
Bruce
means it's gonna be
Davidson's
great.
good in it because he's good in
It's
everything.
going to be a great episode then.
Bruce Davidson.
He plays the president in X-Men, the first X-Men
Oh,
movie.
Senator Kelly.
No.
Oh,
the
he's the guy that puffed up and then eventually like blew
Yeah,
up. Right?
exactly. He melts.
okay.
Melty guy.
Yeah. He's a good actor.
Yeah,
he is.
okay.
So
We'll
He's
go with
good.
that.
yeah. All right. Well, we'll be watching his episode next.
You
Davin
know
says
what's
if
you know
Davin
what's
thinks it's
probably
bad-
better than this episode though, Dave?
What's that?
Probably whatever episode you guys are currently dealing with on DS9 at 9ish.
Well, you'd be correct to say so, Jody. Where was that guy? Yeah, Dennis, who was saying it was the best Star Trek series every Wednesday right
He's right.
now.
I wouldn't agree with that,
On
but
Tuesdays, we talk about each episode
It's
of Deep Space Nine, much like we do here on Enterprise. Yeah, and the next episode we're doing, it's called I should know this.
It's the Cork one, the Ferengi
Business
one.
as Usual, season 5,
Yeah.
episode 18. We'll be talking about that Wednesday, and
well, that's
then
a
this
good episode.
this
Did you say
Thursday,
business?
guys, this Thursday we're going to be talking about A Quality of Mercy, the finale of Star Trek: Strange New Worlds season 1. So that's
Hopefully
exciting.
they end the season with a good episode.
Well, I imagine they saved the best for last.
So this is the final week?
Final
Yeah.
week of Strange New Worlds, yeah.
Huh.
And,
I don't know
they
how they're going to come off of last week's great episode, Davan.
It was the worst one of the series.
did- yeah.
I've seen
Let's see.
Alien and Aliens too, and they were both better than that episode.
Oh boy!
It's the Gorn!
It's the Gorn, sir.
It's the
Federation.
Gorn.
It's the children of the Gorn.
It's
Malachi?
the Dawn. Malachi.
Oh, that you know what? They missed an opportunity to name that episode "Children of the Gorn."
That would have been amazing. Because they literally were the children of the Gorn. Why didn't they do that?
Yeah, I saw some
Everything about
memes
that
on-
episode
on,
was not good.
Social media where it was like Hemmer, and it was like, I'm a proud father of two, or but, there's some good stuff. Anyway, we'll be back in a week to talk about the next episode of Enterprise, the one with the fugitive guy, the seventh, as they call it.
Seventh.
Yeah, not to be confused with the Magnificent Seven, which was this episode. Anyway, thanks for being with us tonight, guys, and thank you, Jody and Adam, for your hosting, of course. And then check out Davan's podcast, Locutors of Trek, where he talks about Star Trek all the time
And rates things.
Whenever we put out
absurdly.
an episode, which is rarely these days, but it's still alive. It's not dead.
And then tomorrow night, I believe you have on your X-Men the animated series X-rated. You have is it Lenore Lawn? Is that her name?
Lenore Zan, but that's actually
Lenore
been
Zan.
rescheduled. She's in
Oh.
between. She's traveling in between Comic Cons. So that's been
Okay.
rescheduled. New date to be announced very soon. So we're back to a regular episode tomorrow. I'll pull it together. We'll have Out of the Past Part 2. But it's then we don't break up this Part 1, Part 2 thing. It all works out in the end.
That's
get-
good.
but-
That's good.
We will get Lenore Zan in there very soon, as well as other interviews on the way. Lots of fun things on X-Rated, the X-Men animated review show.
Yeah, excellent. Great. And then check out our other friends podcast, Michael Chan, Axe Blackburn, have the Hellbound podcast every Wednesday if you like horror themed podcasts. And also check out Eamon's podcast, Let's Talk About Fighting Games, under his alias Sam Jurka. Plus, we have two other channels. One's called Super Mater Brothers Podcasting. We're going to be starting on Big Brother season 24 this week. Probably doing a cast preview tomorrow night, as well as the premiere episode on Wednesday. Also, check out Trivial Debates, our other channel, where we argue about movies, TV, and sports and more. Most recently, we had Chris Murphy hosting with Adam, Davan, and Jaemeel Robinson competing. That was a lot of fun.
Great episode. Go watch it.
Great episode. Coming up this month, we have Jody Simpson hosting, along with Jeff.
Never heard of him.
Well, that's the evil version of me because he's got the goatee.
Yeah, that's your
Oh.
Mirror Universe
Makes
counterpart.
sense.
Universe character.
Yeah, along with Max Duda and Chris Murphy. So that's good. That's gonna be on July 24th. Check out that in real time on Trivial Debate.
I don't want to ruin it for anybody, but Max isn't going to win.
Yeah, so it's.
I got my money on Jeff and Murphy, so
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a Jeff Murphy speed round if I had to put money on it. But you never know. Max could pull something off. Who's to say?
Maybe.
All right, guys. Well, I think we'll play us out here as we head off, and we'll see you next time. Thanks
It's
for
the
being with us.
Gone.
Yeah, no, you know what you're
Children of the Gorn.
Well, we'll play that one.
It's the Gorn.
But this was the quote of tonight.
She's got an awfully nice bum.